All right, so today I'm going to break down my current psychological and trading struggles that I'm dealing with, and that I believe are my final, like that last step towards my dream or my goal as a trader. And you guys are probably staring at this chart, looking at all the executions, and you're like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" But let me give me a second to explain everything, because everything has an explanation. As you can see, these text boxes, I kind of broke down my thought process for this entire trading session or day. So I'm just going to go into that. But before we get into that, make sure you guys use code BLAY, BLAY, for Apex and Take Profit Trader. I actually use Take Profit for today, and I'll show you guys the payouts that I'll be getting. But yeah, code BLAY, BLAY, for Apex and Take Profit Trader. And then I'll have my Alpha Futures link in the description if any of you guys use Alpha Futures. Starting off, we have this initial short right here from the weekly volume imbalance midpoint. You can see on the right side, the weekly volume balance is that gray box. The midpoint is the white dotted line. So we use that to enter. If I hover over the entry, you can see that I entered right on it. So right there, right? It's funny how these influencers who claim to trade ICT usually enter way down here, right? No. ICT traders enter when the candle is going up. So as the candle's coming up, hitting that weekly volume imbalance midpoint, that's where I'm entering. So I enter there, aiming for this red line, which is sell side. I'm not gonna try and move my charts too much so that the text stays aligned. But here's this AM sell side, right? 9:30 open sell side. So I'm looking for that as a target. But if you read the text box, you could say good short, blah blah blah. But I was greedy and didn't get out at sell side and got stopped out in little profit. Then immediately re-entered impulsively. So boom, mistake number one. And I want you guys to, kind of watch this video with a open mind and learning experience. Don't watch this video and just constantly think that I'm a gambler and I don't know what I'm doing, right? If I don't know what I'm doing, I wouldn't have made 15K this month from trading, and it's only halfway through the month, right? So, and I already know that there's going to be some comments, fucking people who have no lives and just spend their time leaving negative comments on people's YouTube or social media. But you know what, that's okay, because you know why? None of them are spending the money I make from trading. None of them are paying my bills. None of them are doing any of that. So, for those of you that want to learn and want to get better as a trader, then this video is for you. And I hope that you guys can learn something from this video. I want you guys to watch this video and learn from my mistakes, right? Don't worry about how much money I made. Don't worry about all these executions and, think that, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Look at these executions and look at the explanations behind them, and you'll realize that, oh shit, this guy is doing the same exact thing that I do when I blow my accounts. And yeah, most of my mistakes are universal amongst most traders. And I do want to specify the problems that ICT traders specifically have, but I'll make another video for that. And just how you kind of see setups all over the place, and you have to control yourself not to take every single setup, and knowing that the market presents setups every single day, yada yada yada, all those issues. I'll make a separate video for that, for ICT traders specifically, because I can only speak for ICT traders. But let's get back into the trade recap for this day. So as you can see, right, we take out sell side. I don't get out because I was being greedy. My draw on liquidity for the day was down here. Was this is a 15-minute fair value gap. You guys can go into your charts and measure up the price lines, and as you can see, if you look closely enough, there's a blue dotted line here, and that is the consequent encroachment, or the midpoint of the Friday's wick, or yesterday's wick. So that was my draw on liquidity for the day, right? So I had a bearish bias going into the day. Keep that in mind, right? So boom, right? We don't get out of our short here because I was being greedy, didn't take any partials, nothing, and then price comes back up, stops me out in profit. You can see right here these blue arrows, right? Stops me out in profit, and then I re-enter short impulsively. This short was not ideal because I had just gotten stopped out of my initial short, right? So there's no reason for me to be going right back into the market, especially after we've taken out sell side, after we have hit this order block, right? And mind you, I'm watching this real time. I'm gonna zoom in right here. I'll just zoom in for each individual case and then I'll zoom back out. So right here, right, I have this blue line that's marked out, this order block. So I'm watching this candlestick print real time, and I see it come down, hit that order block, and come back up, and then I'm going short. So as I see sell side get taken and bullish PDA rates get respected, I'm going short. So that should tell you right there that I'm not in the right state of mind. And I'm not in the right state of mind because I was in a short, I didn't get out where I was supposed to, and then price comes up and stops me out, taking away basically half my profits. So boom, that already triggered me to not be in the right state of mind. So which led to this impulsive trade. So that's a little breakdown. Some of you guys might also experience that where you make a mistake impulsively and then you become impulsive, right? So then we come up, price rallies higher, and then we take out this minor high right here, and then we have we come down into this buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, or bullish for value gap. I try to go short, I get immediately stopped out. So I basically right here, what happened was I got manipulated because in my mind I'm only looking for shorts, and this on the 15-second time frame, you can't see it on the 1 minute. On the 15-second time frame, there was a 2022, but as you can see, as the 1 minute candle closed, it was a very, this doesn't look very bearish at all. So I got manipulated on the seconds chart, and then after that I dropped my ego and I end up going long off of this this wick right here. So next candle opens, this candle comes down, I see it come down, and then I enter using the premise that this wick is basically a balanced price range. So price should not come back down below that wick if the midpoint at all. So I enter long here to buy side, got out up here, and then right here is where I enter short. So we come up, take out buy side, hit this rejection block on, I think it was the 15-minute and hourly rejection block, I believe. So you see we hit that, and then also this inversion for value gap from way over here. Bodies respect that. And then, so I go short on this order block, but then I get out of my shorts. I'm scared for some reason, which doesn't really make any sense, right? You're looking at this hindsight, and you're saying, well, if you had a bearish bias and the market structure is bearish, we have a 2022 model to the downside after taking buy side, after hitting the rejection block and the inversion for value gap, respecting it, why are you scared to go short? Because in real time, my mind is not right. Something happened in my mind that caused me to lose focus on price, and I'm having internal battles. So this whole segment of this whole 30-minute segment is just me constantly battling myself, right? I'm having an internal war in my mind, just tweaking out basically. And essentially what happened was I ended up going on tilt a little bit. And this right here, this little segment in price right here is exactly what caused me to blow every single account that I blow, right? Every single account that I blow looks exactly like this, where price does absolutely nothing, and I'm just going long and short, long and short, long and short, and I'm over here, I'm top ticking shorts. I'm going long right at the top of the move, basically. So I go long, and then price just drops, and then I go short, and then price rallies, right? So basically that's what happened this whole entire time. And that is exactly what causes me to blow every single account I blow. It looks exactly like that. But thankfully, I had the buffer that I had from this first trade as well as this long that I had, right? So I had a decently sized, but I think I had like around like 5K buffer. So then we chop around, or let me backtrack a little bit. So right, we have this order block short entry. I get scared out, and then I'm sitting here, wanting to be in shorts because I'm not gonna say I know price is gonna go lower, because a lot of you guys don't really like that, and you think, oh, no one knows where the market's gonna go, blah 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 blah. But I had a very, 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 very high conviction that price was likely to draw lower, and I wanted to be in these shorts. Why? because I was already in the short up here, but I got scared and got out. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I should already be in shorts, but since I'm not in shorts and I messed up and I got out of my short, let me try and get back in. So boom, so first I go short. As you can, look, I'm hovering over the arrow, the execution arrow, and you can see that I enter basically like at the low of this candle, right? And then you can see the next candle, I'm hovering over the execution mark right now. You can see I exit at the high, right? So I'm going low, I'm going short at the low of this candle, and then I'm getting stopped out at the high of this candle. And basically that's what goes on for about 20 minutes straight, right? And that was just very, very hectic. I should have been in this short initially, never got scared out. And even if I did get scared out, then, wait for another entry to present itself. What entry in this consolidation is there, right? Sure, there's this order block right here, but I didn't enter off that. You can see that all my short executions, you have to look very close here. I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys to see a little bit better. But if I hover over all these short executions, right, you can see that all the short entries are at the low of this consolidation range, right? So short down here, this one at the bottom, this one at the bottom, this one at the bottom, this one at the bottom. So you can see all of my short entries are in the lower half of this consolidation, when in reality, all my short entries should be up here in the top part. And then you can see, the longs up top, longs up top, long up top, long up top, right? So I'm just getting absolutely railed by the market here. And then eventually, I think I go short. Yeah, I go short here and then get stopped out again. And then price taps into this. Price takes out, it clears these relatively equal highs, hits the inversion fair value gap, and then displaces lower, right? So we finally have some kind of structure outside of this consolidation period. We take out the buy side, hit a bearish PD array, and then immediately respect it, and then the next candle drops, displaces lower, and then we have this inversion fair value gap that we tap. I see that, I enter a little bit late, and then that is where I catch the short, and then I get out around here. Let me just go through these note boxes, make sure I didn't miss anything. After the manipulation, take minor buy side, yeah. So then we drop lower, and then boom, we hit this fair value gap, this bullish fair value gap that I had my eye on because it is inside that weekly volume imbalance. Remember, this gray box is the weekly volume imbalance. So I like this fair value gap right here. That's where I get out at. I get out right there, and then I had a small partial that I left on, but I just decided to get out. And then after being scared from the AM session, so remember my first trade, right? I didn't get out where I was supposed to. Price ended up fully reversing, blah blah blah, right? So even though I wanted to see price come all the way down to sell side, I was scarred from my first trade. So my first trade was affecting my mental all the way over here. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't want price to reverse on me and I lose all my profits again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get out, not be greedy, and take my profits. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? If you make money on the day and, that's doing better than 99% of traders already, right? So just because you didn't catch the full move or just because you didn't hit a certain profit target that you set on yourself, that doesn't mean that, you're failing as a trader. Most people see that as failure, and that is not a failure, right? At the end of the day, if you're making money consistently from the markets, you're doing better than 99% of traders. Even if you're making $100 a week, $1,000 a month, you're still doing better than 99%. So price ends up running lower, continuing lower. At this time, I'm not on the charts. I walk away. And then I come back around 1:30, which is where the PM session macro starts. And then I see that we haven't taken out sell side yet. So I think, okay, let me go for sell side since we haven't taken it out yet. And then I try going short before the manipulation. Once again, which is basically what I was doing inside this consolidation range, right? I was trying to go short before any kind of manipulation. And by manipulation, I mean this run up right here, that single wick that took out buy side and hit the inversion for value gap. That is manipulation. Same thing over here. I try going short twice, get stopped out both times, and then we manipulate higher, have our Judas swing, and then that's where I go short on this turtle soup entry. Stop loss above the high. Why is this a turtle soup? Because we took out this high at 12.53. That's a minor buy side right there. And then we hit this order block right here, right? That order block. Oops. And then we also have this inversion for value gap from the AM session that we used right there. So that was what's going through my head when I'm looking for this turtle soup. I enter short, and then I get out. I get out right here because on this take profit account, you can't, if you make more than $10,000 in a day, then they're gonna move you to a live account, and I don't want to be on a live account. I just want to stay on this demo pro account and just withdraw everything that I can. So I'll be taking a 8K payout from this account. But yeah, that's why I got out right there and didn't hold to my final target. My final target, like I said, was this 15-minute fair value gap with the daily wick midpoint. So I would have held to all the way down there if I could have maximized my profits. But like I said, I was kind of capped right there. So that's where I got out. But yeah, that was pretty much the premise of how today went for me. And it kind of encapsulates, I think that's the right way, that's the right word. It really encapsulates my current struggles that I'm going through as a trader with around 3 years of experience. And as you can see, right, there is greed. There's a little bit of greed. There's a little bit of impulsiveness caused by the greed, right? So I get greedy. Things don't go how I want it. I get emotional. I get upset. I try to re-enter. I get punished, right? So that's kind of like the basic steps of what happens. How do I fix that? Just not be greedy, right? There's nothing wrong with taking profits, taking partials at a reasonable price area, right? I'm not saying, just when price moves in your direction, the moment you feel scared or nervous, get out, right? I'm saying this in the context that price took out sell side after dropping all morning, right? And then the lunch macro is coming up. So 11:30 is when the lunch macro starts. And what the lunch macro does is essentially runs on the liquidity in the opposing direction of what the market has been doing. So basically, in this context, right, we've been dropping all morning. So what is the lunch macro likely to do? Run on opposing liquidity. Do we have opposing liquidity? Yes, we have obvious buy side right here. What does the market do during lunch macro? Run that buy side. So with all those things in mind, why am I, impulsively entering short? Oh no, let me get back to my main point. With that in mind, right, lunch macro coming up, we just took out sell side. There's no reason why I shouldn't be taking at least something off right here at these shorts, right? So just got to figure out that greed. It's not really a major problem. That's kind of just a minor problem for me. But for you, it might be a major problem. You have to figure out what your individual major problem is, right? The only thing holding me back is this right here, this little segment. This is what causes me to blow my accounts and lose everything, right? It's not the greed. It's not anything else but this. So this is what I need to fix personally. That's my main problem. Anything else between that? No. So right, we're coming back to here. I go short because my bias is short. Then the market structure narrative is also bearish, but my mind isn't focused on price. My mind is focused somewhere else, and I end up, like I said, I already explained what happened here. And basically, my solution to overcoming this problem right here is just, knowing when to sit on my hands, right? There's nothing in here that should be, there's nothing in here that I should be entering on. There's no PD arrays there's no PD arrays. I shouldn't be going short at the low. Like I said, remember when I explained earlier how all my short entries are at the low of this consolidation range? I shouldn't be going short down here. If anything, I should be going short every time price comes up. That's when I should be going short. But I was going short in the opposite. So something was on my mind, And right now I can't really remember what was going through my mind. All I can see is that, clearly I wasn't focused on price, and I think maybe I was just too zoomed in or something, but that's my main current problem that I'm dealing with right now. And then we cashed a short, and then again we just didn't wait for manipulation on these shorts. We kind of just entered and then got stopped out, and then once price finally manipulated is when we caught the move. So that's basically everything for my personal struggles right now as a trader, what I'm trying to overcome, and hopefully you guys can learn something from this video, and some of you guys may even relate to the current struggles I'm dealing with, and I hope that you guys can figure out whatever solutions you come up with, because like I said, everyone has their own individual problems that they deal with, and these are just mine, right? As you can see, I don't have any fears of entering. I don't have any fears of holding my trades, other than this one that was caused by the AM session trade. But by fear of holding my trade, I mean entering up here and then seeing price move a little bit and then like, oh shit, like I'm in profit, maybe I should get out. No, I don't have any problem with that. I can easily hold my trades to a reasonable price. I don't struggle with over leveraging, but some of you guys may struggle with those things, and you have to figure out exactly why you do those things and how you can fix them, because until you do that, you're just going to keep doing the same mistakes over and over again. You're going to keep blowing accounts, you're going to keep blowing money on evals, resets, until you figure out what your problem is, right? For me, like I said, my problem is just getting chopped up in this accumulation when price is doing absolutely nothing. But that may not be the same for you. So go through your journal. This is why it's important to journal, to figure out what you're doing wrong, and find that root cause and figure out solutions. And that's really it. So I hope you guys were able to learn anything from this video, and don't forget to use code BLAY, BLAY, when using Take Profit and Apex, and then I'll leave my Alpha Futures link in the description down below. And with that being said, I will see you guys next video. Thank you for watching.